Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Theoretical Doctor Audio Blogs. Here I will be sharing my experience as a house officer during my night shift in the Orthopaedics Posting. The link to the article of this audio blog is available in the description below if you would prefer to read on it instead. Otherwise, let's begin. It took me more than a month, almost towards the end of my second month in my housemanship or internship journey, before I started my shift as an on-night. On-night is from 7 p.m. till 8 a.m. and is the overnight shift taking care of wards. Depending on the ward that you are being allocated to, it is either the male orthopedic ward or the female orthopedic ward, as well as the pediatrics orthopedic ward. However, pediatrics orthopedic ward is mainly passive calls, thus indirectly you would be in charge of 2 wards. I started my first shift late because I was due to off-tag. I have attempted my off-tag assessment numerous times prior to my first shift and failed each and every one of them. Hence, I was not deemed fit to begin my first on-night shift. In a way, I was glad and thankful. I felt protected because I was afraid of the weird things that could occur at night. I simply did not know how to handle or attend to them. Sadly, that also meant that I was simply hindering myself from learning. I was not mentally prepared and I was just simply scared. However, I started. Before I proceed to my advices and tips on surviving being the on-night in this posting, allow me to brief you on how a typical night would be like as an on-night house officer in the orthopedics posting. As mentioned, the shift begins from 7 p.m. and lasts till 8 a.m. Most of us come at 7 p.m. on the dot and receive handover from the long day person or the tagger. Next, we proceed to check if the on-call review has been completed. This is part of the task of the long day house officer or tagger. However, sometimes things do not go according to plan. Thus, if it is not completed, it's time to start. On-call reviews are usually done twice. One with the medical officer and the following one with the medical officers and specialists. The beds reviewed are usually the beds situated in the acute area as well as newly admitted patients from the emergency department. This is followed by carrying out any necessary job list from the on-call review. After the on-call review, there is usually a free period before you get CC'd or called to the emergency department. It is mentioned in my previous articles, we will get CC'd or called from the wards to help carry out the active job list of the stranded patients. It's just how the system is in this department. Anyway, it is during this time that most of us begin our coming mornings. Depending on the speed of how you work, multiplied by the amount of coming mornings, is how quickly you can take a break for the night. Naturally, I'm slower than most people, thus I pretty much am on the move till the end of the shift. Coming mornings should only be sent after midnight. Hence, if you are able to complete it before midnight, hold it till after. Always double check the patient's name and ID on the forms and tubes, as well as the gender, ward, date and time, signature, chop, and relevant history for some. This is to ensure that your efforts in acquiring the coming morning bloods are not futile. True that the form and the tubes are prepared by the morning set of doctors, and technically it would be their fault should a blood investigation be rejected in the system. However, medicine is all about teamwork, and though coming mornings may seem like a small menial task, it provides the information needed by the morning team for their continuous management. Thus, bloods that are clotted or rejected in the system, it is necessary to repeat them again, which only unnecessarily hurts the patients again and delays their management. It is a butterfly effect. Hence, always be sure to double check it is all for the patients and as part of our service after all. So far, the night sounds pretty straightforward. However, that is not always the case. Usually something happens in between during my night shift. The pediatric orthopedic ward does not have a house officer actively taking care of the ward after 5 p.m. Hence, should there be any acute issues, post-op reviews, or transfer-in reviews to be done, the staff nurses will call either the house house officer from male orthopedic ward or the female orthopedic ward. It can be rather annoying at times. However, just remember the staff nurses are simply carrying out their duties, and it would be even more difficult if we had to personally check and see for any new admissions or post-op reviews. Similarly, aside from on-call reviews and taking coming mornings, we have to attend to any acute issues in the ward that we are assigned to, in addition to post-op reviews and transfer-in reviews. Such reviews are extremely important, as well as patients have a tendency to bleed post-operatively or be in extreme pain after the anesthesia has worn off. Doing such reviews ensures that the medications are served to the patient by ensuring that they are being indented and to carry out other necessary plans. Finally, bed allocations. In the middle of the night, staff nurses may switch the patient's beds. In addition to that, there might be new admissions. Thus, it is important to ensure the master list is updated before allocating the beds for the morning set of house officers. Bed allocations are usually sent by 6 a.m. Usually by 6 a.m., the morning team of house officers will start arriving, and that is when the load gets lighter, and most of us will safely leave the ward to clerk cases at the emergency department or carry out necessary active job lists that were not prioritized earlier. Since our night shift ends at 8 a.m., we might be CC'd by the morning team to aid in acquiring certain set of bloods which are sometimes missed or forgotten by the set of doctors from the previous morning shifts. Once all is said and done, it is time to close the shop and return home. Sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? I have always been intimidated by the idea of working as the on-night house officer, but with exposure, I learned how to manage certain acute issues. It is scary because it is unpredictable. Thus, it is best to equip thyself beforehand. First, prepare your bed allocations before work. Bed allocations should be sent by 6 a.m. Do not send it too early, as you might miss any new patients. However, it is best to go through the master list before work and to draft out the allocations on your phone beforehand and to update them along the way. Next, inform the next shift of their allocations. This is just an odd habit of mine. After setting the KIV bed allocations, I would personally message each house officer on the beds that I'm planning to assign them to. This gives them a brief idea on the particular cubicle that they would be working in, and should things get rocky in between the night and no time to allocate and update the master list, at least there are still doctors who would come by 6 a.m. to review the patients. Third, start your coming mornings early as possible. Just be sure not to get caught by the bosses, of course. Things may not always flow smoothly throughout the night. Thus, it is best not to take that short quiet period for granted and to just start. 4. Attend to every post-op review. Post-op review is extremely important. Never ever miss it. 5. Keep your ward MO on call, blood bank MO on call, and peri-anesthesia MO on call on speed dial. Well, if you still use speed dial. Basically, what I meant is to be sure you do know who is on call and have their phone numbers saved. This saves time from having to call the operator or to scroll through the groups to hunt for them should there be any emergency in the ward. Basically, that is it. It seems daunting at first, but it actually provides a good experience. It taught me how to be more confident in myself in terms of managing certain acute issues, more so than being in the morning shift. However, remember that the odd things always happens at night. Hence, stay equipped and be prepared and enjoy the experience. There is just so much to learn in every area. Till then, take care and all the very best. Thank you for listening to this audio blog. Do stay tuned for more, which will be available every Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Remember to click on the subscribe button as well as the bell button so you won't miss out on any upcoming audio blogs.